Want to have a better
save.
Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas, and Dan Moriarty in St. Louis as we get ready for Heat 2 of Quad Wars. That is Team St. Louis in red, Team New Orleans in white. They won the first heat, and so I would think that St. Louis really determined here, Scott.
Doesn't get any simpler than this. If St. Louis can't win this heat and then the main event, New Orleans will leave the TWA Dome as the Pace Motorsports TNN World Quad Wars Team Champions. It's a must-win for St. Louis, and Nick Granlund and his teammates have busted out of the gate with a huge lead early. They know they have to win this race.
Nick Granlund has really found a home here in St. Louis and has had a great year leading this team. And as you see, another one of the teammates there kind of blocking him a little bit. They're 1 and 2. Nick knows he's got to go. Nick Granlund will be trying to take it home and even it all up for Team St. Louis. Here comes New Orleans. You can see them in the background there, but there's still a ways to go. Oh, and a wheel comes off.
Look at that. Granlund gets off looking at the wheel. Totally disgusted. Nonetheless, it is St. Louis still out in front. So Granlund busts a wheel, but it is his teammate, John Rosenbaum, who is able to get out in front as Tompkins came and finally took advantage. It's going to be a two-man race, remember. St. Louis has to win this, and right now New Orleans has the lead. And I'll tell you, a little showtime there from Tompkins. He got in the air, kind of twisted his body and laughed at him. This race isn't over.
But Rosenbaum is really one of the bright young stars for St. Louis. He's learned so much from Granlund all year long and now has to take over the role of trying to lead his team to the victory. Here comes Rosenbaum. He is really making some nice moves. He's learned a lot this season, just a youngster. But, hey, he's now fallen to second place with the white flag out. Let's see what happens. Can he do it?
In the air at the white, Tompkins had the lead. New Orleans can lock up the championship right here. If they win this, the main event will be nothing for the points championship. It'll just be for pride. That's why that's a key move right there. Rosenbaum to the inside. Look at him blow open the lead.
Well, Rosenbaum knew he had to do it or it was all over. He let it all hang out. And Rosenbaum now just has to hold off Tompkins of New Orleans. Rosenbaum of St. Louis will try to lead his team to the Quad War win. The captain has broken. He is out of the race. But the youngster, Johnny Rosenbaum, from here in St. Louis, a native of St. Louis, Missouri, he is going to take it for the win, and we are all even. What a performance by the youngster who had to step it up.
And I got to tell you, I think Ritchie Hopkins got a little cocky. He got the lead, look at that. He's upset now. He kind of runs into him. Yep, he got cocky, and it cost him.
All right, we'll have our quad finals coming up. It's going to be quite a showdown. It's all next on Motor Madness.
And Aaron's in overcharge either.
Hey, it's all the TNN excitement that you love. Now you can cheer the bad boys on live. You can see the Monster Jam SummerSlam World Tour, pro arena truck excitement, and a lot more. Go to pacemotorsports.com and get those tickets now.
All right, ready for the finals of Quad Wars. Nick Granlund has a new quad, and he's out on it. He's the captain of St. Louis. We saw him break in the second round, and then what a performance by John Rosenbaum, who comes on to win and tie things up. There's Granlund, who's now on 78. We'll see what he can do in leading this homestanding St. Louis team here in the Quad War Finals.
Can't miss those purple pants for Nick Granlund anywhere he goes. But look at Ritchie Hopkins explodes out of the hole. Again, it's a one-race showdown, folks. This is it. The winner of this race is the 1999 Pace Motorsports Quad Wars champion. And right now, St. Louis and New Orleans are too tight to call it because they both won it bad.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of fine-tuning on that new bike for Nick Granlund. Ritchie Hopkins has some strength too, and the thing is that Granlund didn't get a chance to test that quad, and so he is out there on a fresh machine. We'll see what he can do there, side by side. Hopkins Hopkins and Granlund, the two captains for New Orleans and St. Louis. Reminder, St. Louis is in red, New Orleans is in white. It only matters who finishes first. That's why the captains are out front. The others just trying to block off each other. We'll see what happens.
Ritchie Hopkins comes up as he has the advantage, and right now it's kind of shifted up a little bit. Johnny Rosenbaum, who earlier won a heat, stuck his nose in front for a moment, but Hopkins has still got that inside position in the turn. Look out, he gets himself in a little bit of trouble. In the meantime, Granlund has dropped back a little bit, but he's still very much in contention. The key for St. Louis right now, they have 3 of the top 4 quads. They've got to work together.
Well, they do, and these things are starting to get jammed up just a little bit, and Granlund has caught back just a little. His teammate Rosenbaum now out in front. We'll see if Granlund can catch up.
Kind of like a horse race when you got a bunch of them coming down the turn. Nick just trying to pick his way through traffic. Luckily for him, his teammates are doing well, however. The green flag is still out on the course. Still time to go as everybody kind of settles in for position. And St. Louis, again, you can see they've got 3 of the top 4 spots. The problem for St. Louis is that one white shirt is one of the most accomplished riders in the world in Ritchie Hopkins, the captain of Team New Orleans. And all he needs is a little bit of a hole. He can get the job done.
There you see Nick Granlund, who is really trying to make it go for Team St. Louis. Ritchie Hopkins, we've seen him all season long perform so well, and he's running strong here in this quad war. 78 back a little bit. Granlund not altogether comfortable with that quad, so some of his teammates have taken to the front. We'll see if he can make his move.
You know, it's strung out for a little bit. Now it looks like it's kind of compressing as kind of the guys who were, you know, kind of raiding maybe, if you will, earlier, kind of feeling the course out. Now everybody's kind of compressed. It's wide open now, and you got to watch it. I've got to tell you, I've been impressed here with the finals with so much on the line with all the rough stuff we've seen this year. This has really been a clean final. Haven't seen any cheap shots at all. Right now, everybody's just trying to show who's the best racer, and it's anybody's race right now. Hopkins is back in front, though.
Look at the way he has control over that quad. I mean, it's not easy going over all these jumps and the tabletop. These quads get some air. This is some heavy banging on these machines that we've seen a couple of them break so far here tonight.
Granlund is still sitting in the 4th position. Been kind of keeping an eye on him because, as you expect, the team captain with the new quad is the guy that you would expect to go, especially in the late stages of the race. So he's hanging in contention. But I got to tell you, to this point, he has not gotten up personally to challenge Ritchie Hopkins. And you've got to believe those two are going to have to go eyeball to eyeball over these last couple of laps. And look, they look at each other right there.
Nick Granlund is starting to make his move. You can almost get the feel of it. The captain here, he is starting to turn it on a little bit as he kind of shortcuts that corner there a little bit. He is riding 3rd behind his teammate Rosenbaum, but it's Granlund who is probably going to have the best shot of challenging Hopkins if he can only get up there.
Look at that Hopkins style. As you see him go through that last turn, look at the way he really hangs off that quad. Nobody gets lower hanging off the seat to get that full body in there as Ritchie Hopkins. And there's the white flag with 1 to go. St. Louis has the lead, but here comes Hopkins. He takes it away.
Hopkins is out on the final lap. He is out in front. There are a couple of St. Louis riders trying to catch him.
This is
Hopkins got a little wide in that turn, but he's still out front. Let's see. Is this a victory for New Orleans? This is for it all here. The top 2 teams in the standings, St. Louis and New Orleans, battling quad wars here.
Granlund has got to make a move and get on the inside of him now as they swing into the final turn. Look at Nicky hang out on it. He sat there and waited till the last minute, and the checker will go to St. Louis. They win it at home.
Nick Granlund, who made that move and hung back in 4th position much of the race, but oh, is he fired up. On a different bike, his bike broke, or his quad broke in the 2nd heat, and here he is feeling great. Our final point standing, St. Louis takes the Quad Wars Championship over New Orleans.
Nick, good championship, brother.
I'll tell you what, you know, we're a little bit behind coming into it, but me and my teammates, we pulled it off, and we're going to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea Disneyland was in St. Louis, but we're going.
Those guys are excited. Congrats to Team St. Louis. Hey, Monster semifinals, hang on to your seat. We got it in a moment.
Inside every car.
Get set for amazing thrills, powerful clothing, and your favorite power-packing monsters. The Monster Jam Summer Slam World Tour at the Vigo County Fairgrounds in Terre Haute, July 16th and 17th. Get those tickets. PaceMotorsports.com's the address. Come check us out, and we'll see you at the show.
Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas, and Dan Moriarty down to the semifinals in Monster Truck.